Jack?
What?
Do you know what day it is tomorrow?
April 30th. Is there something special about it?
Metal Gear Solid 2. Released on November 2001, it was the 7th installment in the series, and the 4th to be spawned from the mind of Western cinephile Hideo Kojima. Metacritic calls it the 4th best-rated PS2 game of all time, and a top 30 contender for the best-rated game of all time. Loved by critics for its stunning visuals and meticulously crafted gameplay, the game also took a bold step towards pushing a philosophical message, and crafted an experience that, for better or for worse, nobody had ever seen before. Buns of Liverpool is an action-adventure game for the PS2, a so-called Golden Age console that I never owned. While you guys had your Crash Bandicoots, Shadows of the Colossi, and Kingdom Hearts, and whatever the shit this is, I was saving the planet from death and destruction with my best friend and biological father, Master Chief. As the Rona quarantine stretches on, though, I find myself dipping my proverbial toes in all sorts of proverbial gumbo. After 8 years clean, I'm enjoying a Call of Duty title. I'm even waking up before noon on Sundays. Also, I can catch Father Jacob in the Chrisley Discord. Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. It has been 7 weeks since my last...
But real quick, my son, where are we dropping?
But perhaps the wildest of all, I've picked up a Metal Gear game. I'm not a stranger to the series, but my previous attempts to actually play the games have been misfires. When I tried Snake Eater and the first Metal Gear Solid to start, I just couldn't get past the controls and the camera. I'm convinced this was the only real hurdle in my way because I've got hundreds of hours sunk into Metal Gear Solid 5.
French champagne.
Sure, I didn't finish it, but neither did Kojima, so who can blame me? And you might be thinking, why did you start with 3, then 1, then 5, now 2? Are you some kind of dumb? And I mean, it's not like it fucking... Welcome back to another episode of If You Can't Play Something Nice, a not quite game review series where I have to say one nice thing for every time I get a game over. Metal Gear Solid is all about espionage, action, and whatever revengeance is. This means you're sneaking, creeping, and crawling around goons, guards, and gatekeepers. And by throwing things on hard, I've added more guards, fewer pathways, and a higher risk of being spotted. I even opted to make it impossible to do anything but sneak, meaning it's game over anytime I get spotted. But I think we get the picture. Let's just get it over with.
The Hudson River, 2 years ago.
Look at those graphics. When this launched, this was easily the best looking video game cutscene to date. Like, give it a month until Melee can compete, but even then. Also, everybody's going on about 2004. Can we get a little love for Aught 1? Ooh, a nice anti-smoking message. There's a military advisor to this game? I mean, that's cool. I just figured Kojima was a huge military nerd. But this is even better, because now I'm imagining everything he pitched past this guy that didn't make it in the end. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. By what right did Kojima make such a beautiful character with such beautiful eyes? Kojima getting to put his name on this is an achievement of its own. Game development culture was super anti-worker back in the 70s, 80s, even today if you're a rock star. Developers behind early-age classics like Adventure and King's Quest had their names scrubbed from history, leaving it up to some devs to sneak their names in with Easter eggs, even. Ever wonder why Castlevania has a bunch of joke names for its credits?
What are you thinking?
The right to put your name on your work is not guaranteed in this industry, and companies like Namco still forbid their Japanese employees from being credited for their work. If you're interested in learning more about vanished developers in the games industry, There's this book by John Sapazniak that...
This is Snake.
Oh, they have faces now.
Don't you forget that you're part of Philanthropy now, an anti-Metal Gear organization and officially recognized by the UN.
That's what we in the biz call seamless exposition. Kojima must have seen the first Lord of the Rings and got super hyped about weapon lore when Aragorn was whipping out the shards of Narsil, and I think he was hoping that hype would translate from cool magic swords to the M9 Tranquilizer. And he was right. Also, love this feature where you can chime in by hitting the bumpers.
The M9 has its limitations.
Russians?
You sure?
No Marine barber touched that head of hair.
Judging a book by its cover. Well, no good protagonist is without flaws. Solid Snake is a master profiler. Merciful Kojima lets you play the game after only 5 minutes of cutscenes. The sheer microscopic level of detail in this game is shocking, honestly. Standing out in the rain for too long will give you a cold. And coming in soggy will leave footprints that guards are sure to follow. Set pieces can be blown apart little by little, painstakingly animated just for players who'd notice. There's also an ice bucket that melts in real time in this diner. Who's gonna watch it that long? This one room in particular is like a thoroughly developed tech demo. Likewise, as you might expect, sleeping guards will never wake up if you gently stuff them into the most comfortable of beds, an upright locker. Oh, and as someone playing Animal Crossing right now, I have to say I love that tapping the action button in this game actually makes stuff go faster. Now, not a lot of people remember this, but lockpicking wasn't invented until Todd Howard came along in 2011, so this method here is actually something of a gaming antique. It's 2001. You're a boned-up teen living under the iron fist of dial-up internet. Who's here to save you? Hideo Kojima.
What was noise?
The sound of progress, my friend.
Raven?
This is a carefully disguised reference to Vulcan Raven from Metal Gear Solid. When approaching an encounter, Metal Gear Solid is chock full of shortcuts that encourage you to think outside the box. And shortcuts hurt, kids. Remember that. This guy just sits here and stares at a wall with his back to you, begging you to pick up the instruction manual and learn how to choke him. That's called game design, folks. Some people can beat this game in an hour and a half. I am not some people. I take my time. I wait for guards to make 2 or 3 passes before I memorize their routine, formulate an opening, and still get spotted.
Snake, respond!
And for the inordinate amount of waiting in this game, I'm glad they give me something to pass the time. It's very progressive that the Russians employ so many deaf soldiers.
Hands over your head, now! Who are you?
See, you know she's the villain because she's resisting our American standards of feminine beauty. Also, love how dynamic the environment is in this boss fight. The tarp, the spotlight, the indestructible wooden crates. I like that all the boss fights have a little corner where you can stock up on rations every so often. Also, love that you can auto-equip rations like an IV drip of hardtack and beef bouillon cubes. Now this is a strong female character in video games. A pregnant woman who can take tranq darts like they're pee breaks on a road trip.
I give my life, not for honor, but for you.
It could always be worse. Something else I found really well made was the stick 'em up feature, as I call it. I think it's really neat that you can use this to scare guards into giving you their dog tags, for one. And if they're not taking you seriously, you can get a little dark and start targeting individual limbs. And popping them dynamically affects their posture. This game has a strong theme of misinformation and censorship, even in its earliest levels. For example, if smoking is so bad, then why did it save me from all this C4? Think for yourself, kids. Smoke them if you got them. Cowboy boots. Camo fatigues. 3 belts. And a temper? Yes, please. Good. I called my dad, who works for the Marines, and he said they definitely have assemblies to talk about their new WMDs. Also, props to the architect of the Discovery, because apparently that OK Corral shootout was just whisper quiet. Which Marine is your favorite? Mine is Brad. But I totally get the appeal of Liquid Brad and Solid Brad, though.
You must be tense. Let's do a little stretching, shall we? Left.
How considerate.
Metal Gear.
Oh, look at that. Metal Gear lost some weight. The few. The proud.
Nobody move. Understood?
This guy is dedicated to his job.
What do you intend to do with Ray? Sell it on the streets?
I was raised in Snezinsk, formerly known as Chelyabinsk 70, the nuclear research outpost.
I love exposition.
What are you talking about?
Damn you!
Oh, yes, please.
Double kill.
Think about the fact that this is on par with the face from Grand Theft Auto 4.
Triple kill. Talents kill. Atrocity. You may yet make it to shore if you swim for your life.
I'm pretty sure Ocelot and Liquid Ocelot use different models, and for some reason, my emulator makes Liquid Ocelot's face 3 shades darker, so I love whatever's going on there.
Snake! Snake!
Love a man who's not afraid to stick 2 intros in a game.
Snake, do you remember the sinking of that tanker 2 years ago?
Of course.
Did you hear that? After 2 years, we're starting to hear the impact of the age-reversing Fox die on Snake's voice. To maintain continuity, Konami brought in the younger, more dynamic Quentin Flynn.
Unless the demands are met, the terrorists intend to blow the big shell out of the water.
And the crude will ignite, turning the Manhattan Harbor into an inferno.
That's not the worst-case scenario. If the chlorides being used to decontaminate the seawater go up with the oil, toxins containing catastrophic levels of dioxins will be released. In other words, the bay's ecosystem will be wiped out, and the sea will turn into a toxic soup for centuries.
Watchful gamers will already start to see the writing on the wall. The fake news, if you will, because everyone knows the Hudson Bay thrives on dead fish and cigarettes.
You have 2 mission objectives. 1, infiltrate the offshore decontamination.
Thank you for enunciating.
And safeguard the president and other hostages. And 2, disarm the terrorists by any means necessary.
Cool mask.
The texture isn't far removed from rubber, but the material protects.
Oh yeah, more equipment lore.
Substances.
I wanted to say something about his posture, but look at the form. Whew. What has it been, 25 seconds? My hands are cramping up already. If only I could find a good place to— oh, thank God. Listen, they're called video games. It's all about striking a good balance between video and game. That's why I want to commend them with 1 point for every hour of cutscenes. That's a movie and a show. That's 2 movies and a show, even.
There's a terminal in front of the elevator. A node.
Did you say nerd?
Not nerd. Node.
Oh. How do I gain access?
Just push the action button in front of the node.
That 4th wall was holding us back anyway. Eagle-eyed gamers will spot some similarities here to the underrated indie hit Metal Gear Solid 1. Kojima really went above and beyond with this lovingly crafted homage to one of gaming's most influential directors, Hideo Kojima.
And by the way, Snake, we're changing your code name for all following communication.
What's wrong with Snake?
Just a precaution. You are now designated Raiden.
The game injects a lot of character and background in these first few lines of dialogue.
Jack, what's going on?
Like that Rose doesn't listen to us and we deserve a better partner. This is what's called a comedy investment. Also, I'm told this game will tell you happy birthday on whatever day you pick, so that's precious.
I'm under enemy fire!
Very humble of Mr. Carell to not put his name in the credits.
No! That is not Solid Snake!
Sons of Liberty?
Switching protagonists is cool. Halo 2 did it, and Modern Warfare 2 did it twice.
Because poop is funny!
This nudie mag is here to lure out sinful gamers who deserve to be shamed.
Raiden, watch out. There are sentries posted on the connecting bridge. They will spot you if you continue on course.
Any recommendations?
Use the hanging mode.
Hanging?
Don't try to stop me!
Oh my god.
You can actually upgrade your grip level by doing in-game pull-ups, which is great because I've lost any and all motivation to take care of myself in real life. Raiden was added to expand the game's appeal to a female audience, and needless to say, I think it's working. Like, check out this hair! What is this, NVIDIA Hairworks? Splinter Cell could have used more vampires. This beautiful man plays all of these characters.
Shoot him! What are you waiting for?
My name is Pliskin. Iroquois Pliskin, Lieutenant Junior Grade.
This is a subtle reference to the character Solid Snake.
Dead Cell? Him? A special forces unit created by ex-President George Sears.
You might be thinking, that sounds exactly like Foxhound from the hidden gem Metal Gear Solid 1, but that's intentional, which makes it smart.
Snake is dead. And buried.
Iroquois Pliskin really helps clear up the facts about this Solid Snake guy.
I don't smoke.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
What the hell is that?
A saxophone, Raiden.
Is she the one they call Fortune?
Seamless exposition.
You a cop?
I'm not NYPD. I came in with the Bravo team. My name is Peter. Peter Stillman.
You're also Grim, Aku Aku, and Great Fox! You're also the only dog tag I ever collected. I miss you so much.
This is the bomb disposal guy. Open any explosives disposal textbook and you'll see his
God,
name.
so many to choose from, though.
Assist him in any way possible to clear the C4 from the structure.
Colonel, you know I've never been trained in bomb disposal.
It's all right. All you have to do is follow his directions.
Raiden can do anything he sets his mind to, even if he really insists otherwise.
Colonel, I'm not qualified for bomb disposal.
It's all right.
His ideas are based on my theories. Demolition is a kind of ideology. It makes no exceptions for time or place.
Just like my favorite ideology, aneurysms.
What's this?
Security card issued to Shell personnel.
Games have made things too complicated these days. In The Witcher, leagues of distance and devastating monsters halt my progress. In Metal Gear Solid 2, the door's locked. Take a hike. Despite having a prosthetic leg, Peter sits on this stool for less than 90 seconds before standing up again. This is a subtle reference to the fact that he's not actually handicapped.
Bomb disposal is a face-off with your own mortality. Don't let the fear get to you. When you give in to the fear, the darkness comes.
You back here, you little stinker. The soldier that patrols the bathrooms, A, exists, and B, conjures up a fear on par with amnesia when you realize he also checks the stalls.
Have you ever enjoyed killing someone?
What are you talking about?
The Metal Gear series often forces players to make the same difficult choice time and time again. Life or death. By tranquilizing your enemies, you admit that soldiers deserve to be more than pawns in a rich man's chess game. Killing enemies, though easier, isn't supposed to be arcadey or satisfying. It's a shameful act, and a too often desultory moment that robs another soul of all moments thereafter. And that's why choking a man to death sounds like this. The other guards will notice when this one doesn't call in to report, and will send reinforcements. Because they care more about each other than Rose cares about me.
The detonator just woke up. It's counting down.
What happened?
The big ones were rigged to be activated when all the baby C4s went offline. Right. The one in Shell 1 should be counting down too. Hurry!
What's the remaining time?
400 seconds.
400 seconds?
Right. Move. Get to the bottom of strut A now!
Backtracking is great because it shows how much you've really mastered the layout of Big Shell. Plus it's on a timer, so you can see how many minutes you didn't waste coming back here.
Right. Pliskin. Listen carefully.
Raiden, the terrorists have retaliated for our bomb neutralization.
What?
A hostage has been killed. Shot in the head.
To shreds, you say?
Stay with your mission objective. Rescue the president.
What about the other hostages?
President Johnson is your first priority.
Priority my butt. They're all in danger.
My name is Fortune, lucky in war and nothing else. And without a death to call my own. Hurry, kill me, please.
This is a subtle reference to Gray Fox from the Hidden Gem Metal Gear song.
But he couldn't kill you, I see.
Completely useless.
Then he's all mine.
Now!
Vamp. Are you gone?
Big mood, though.
Bombs tell the time with every moment of their existence, and nothing else announces its own end with such a fanfare.
I mean, where do you even begin, honestly? Remember when Stillman died 5 minutes ago and we were all sad?
Ha! Me neither.
You know it's a good boss fight if it could have been the B-plot to an episode of Rocket Power. This fight passes the weirdest threshold, where no matter how many times I have to redo it, it's too ridiculous to be frustrating.
What did you just do? What is this?
I love the way Raiden sounds like a fed-up parent right now, like...
Let me see what you have!
It's the switch for the biggest bomb in the entire place.
No!
Laugh and grow fat.
24 would have been better if Jack Bauer had to defuse a bomb hidden under Sarah Clark's unreasonably large ass. The disguise Raiden is given to infiltrate Shell 1 falls off the minute someone touches it. Now, because Raiden is roughly the same height and weight as the other guards, we can infer this isn't because the outfit is too small, it's just secured like a hospital gown with a string of floss in the back. And that is a good thing. Finally, bulletproof bird cages. 2009 is all I hoped it would be. This parrot, by the way, thoroughly developed. It has unique lines for being sprayed with coolant, and it learns things that are said near it.
You must be Ames.
You must be Ames.
You must be Ames. You must be Ames.
Raiden uses a high-powered microphone to spy on the internal organs of others. This is a subtle reference to the Patriot Act, published just weeks before Metal Gear 2's release.
I'm taking off the tape. Stay quiet.
Sorry, Colonel. You failed to carry out your duties.
You'll never escape the Lalilulelo.
This is actually Ames and the Commandant attempting to name a secret organization that's so secret they can stop you from even saying their name by manipulating the MacGuffins, the nanomachines in your head. Its intended effect is even stronger in the original Japanese script, specifically because this series of syllables can't be written with the Japanese alphabet. In fact, it's almost a suggestion for Japanese players that this organization either invented a new letter or erased an old one. Anyway, if you turn the mic left during this cutscene...
Because poop is funny!